Hello, this is for the class Pathways Math 8. Going to take you through using the Apex program. I'm going to try to post at least one of these screencast videos per week for you to see. Also, I am available on Zoom from every day from 8:51 to 9:26, which is your period 2, and also 11:23 to 11:58, which is your period 6. I'm also on Zoom every day from 12:40 to 3. Or sometimes even, sometimes even later, depending on the day. So you can always reach me there or reach me through Google Classroom. So as often as we can meet and as often you ask questions, the better. So I'm going to take you through Unit 1, the number system. You can see Unit 1 overview. We want to go to those lessons. So lesson 1.1, there's an overview, a study, checkup, review, practice, and quiz. We really want to look at, today we're going to look at lesson 1.1.1 to get you ready for the quiz. Okay, 1.1.5. Okay, so taking a look at that. And then when you click on it, it's going to say start. It says resume for me because I've already been through this lesson. All right, so as you get into the lessons, you can see this lesson has 13 different screens. It gives you some information here. And you read that information, but also it has some information in light blue. If you click that, it gives you the definition of the word. So rational number, it tells you what a rational number is when you click that. And then it gives you some information about rational numbers. It tells you how rational numbers, whole numbers even, can be written as ratios. This mixed number can be written as a ratio. This mixed number can be written as a ratio, etc. Even negative numbers can be written as ratio fractions. And then it's going to ask you to match each rational number or ratio with the correct fraction. So where would -2 go? Would it go with -2 over 1, 1 over 1, 2 over 3, 3 over 2? So you would match where each of those goes. And then you would click submit. Okay, and a hint if you need a hint. Okay, so defining irrational numbers. So if you click here, it will give you what an irrational number is. It gives you that definition. And also it shows you an example of an irrational number. So pi is an example of an irrational number because it's a decimal number that continues forever and ever and ever, but there's no repeating pattern. The numbers just keep varying. And if you click something like this, it shows you a video. This gives you a 27-second video about figuring out the circumference divided by diameter equals pi. So you can watch that video. I would encourage you to watch every video that you need to watch. Again, it gives you more information below about what is a rational number and identify each number as rational or irrational. So all depending on what you learn up here, what's rational or irrational. Okay, so you have to select, is 4 1/3 irrational or rational? So if I think it's rational, I'll click there. Jump down to something like this, square root of 13. Is that rational or irrational? I think it's irrational. And I would want to solve all those again and then click submit. Okay, rational numbers either terminate or repeat forever when written in decimal form. So rational numbers terminate, which means they stop, or they repeat forever with a pattern in decimal form. Okay, so repeating decimal with a definite pattern, 0.33333, that goes on forever and ever and ever. So although it goes on forever and ever and ever, the repeating pattern is just a 3. So that would be a repeating decimal. Here you can see that it's not just one number repeating, but the pattern repeats, 0.571428, 571428. So that would also be rational because the pattern is going to repeat that 571428, 571428. That's going to continue forever, but it's a definite pattern, which makes it rational. And terminating decimals, boop, they just stop, like 0.25 stops right there. So choose the numbers that are terminating decimals that stop. And notice it says choose the numbers, so it's more than one choice here. So you want to click which ones are terminating decimals and then submit. Okay, so every rational number either terminates or repeats. Terminating decimals, repeating decimals. Decimal that goes on forever is called. Okay, you would pick the answer choice. Again, just those drop downs. You pick the answer that you think is important, or not important, that you think is correct, and then eventually you'll submit when you think that answer is right. All right, so here's more information about terminating decimals. And a chart there that you can use. Okay, repeating decimals here. That 0.3 divided into 1 would be 0.333333333 forever. Again, that's kind of similar to what they showed you before. Using long division gives you this terminating decimal of 0.75. All right, and then select what would be the fraction form of this, and then the decimal form of that. Okay, here you have some drop downs. Gives you some examples. Same here. Place the steps in the correct order to change the mixed number 3 1/2 into an improper fraction. So what would you do first? Would you add 1, place 7 in the numerator, or multiply 3 times 2? So to change this into an improper fraction, which would be the first step? All right, check your understanding. To change 2/9 to a decimal, divide. You would type in your answer there. Here you select from the drop down, but sometimes you have to type in, sometimes you have to select from a drop down. Okay, every terminating decimal is equivalent to a fraction that has a power of 10 in the denominator. All right, so 10, 100, 1000 are powers of 10. The first 3 decimal place values correspond to these denominators. So in the first 3 decimal places, tenths is the first decimal place, hundredths goes to the second decimal place, thousandths goes to the third. Okay, on screen 10 here. More information about terminating decimals, and more a chart here, or a table that can help you. Make the necessary selections to write each terminating decimal as a fraction. So what would you do to turn this into a fraction? Number of digits after the decimal point. Well, obviously that's 1. Power of 10. Okay, it's 1 power of 10. So what would the fraction be? Boom. So you would go from here to here, but select those answers. And then when you have all 3 of these done, submit. Okay, more about repeating decimals. And again, you have some drop downs here that can help you. Anytime you see those arrows, you can drop down. And again, put the steps in order to convert 0.2 terminating decimal to a fraction. So what would you do first out of these 5 choices? It's kind of like dragging them where you think they would go, and then it changes the order. So whatever order you think goes until you get the right order, and then you submit. Okay. Here are 2 other examples. So with some practice, again, sometimes typing in, sometimes with a drop down. All right, take a minute to test your knowledge. So here's some different definitions. If you click it, gives you the definition and an example. So there you go. So once you complete this, you would be done that, and then you can try those other things I showed you on Apex in preparation for the quiz, which is 1.1.5. So have a great day. I hope this was helpful. Again, see me on Zoom or on Google Classroom if you have any questions.